My nanny tortured my twins as punishment whenever I did something she didn't like. I got her own kids taken away. We hired Bridget as our nanny when my twins were 3, and I had to go back to work full-time after my maternity leave with our baby. She came with amazing references, had 15 years of experience, and my kids loved her immediately. She was Mary Poppins for the first 6 months, teaching them songs, doing crafts, taking them to the park. I paid her well above market rate because she was so good with them, and always flexible when I had to work late. Everything changed when I had to deny her request for a 2-week paid vacation to go to Italy with her boyfriend. I explained that our contract included 1 week paid vacation after a full year, and she'd only been with us 8 months. She said she understood, but her whole attitude shifted after that. The kids started having more tantrums, which was weird because they'd been past that phase. My son James suddenly became scared of the dark again, and my daughter Lucy started wetting the bed. I asked Bridget if anything had changed at home while I was at work, and she said they were probably just going through a phase. She suggested maybe I wasn't giving them enough attention since I worked so much. That stung, but I figured she might have a point, so I tried leaving work earlier. Then I had to miss the nanny's birthday because of a major presentation at work. I'd left a card with a bonus and apologized profusely. The next day, both twins came down with stomach aches that mysteriously disappeared the moment Bridget left for the day. This pattern continued where every time I did something that annoyed Bridget, my kids would have a terrible day right after. If I was late getting home, the kids wouldn't get their afternoon snack. If I forgot to stock her favorite coffee, the kids would be put in timeout for hours. If I questioned any of her methods, the kids would suddenly lose privileges like their tablets or favorite toys. I started noticing the correlation but had no proof. The twins were too young to articulate what was happening, and Bridget always had explanations. She'd say James didn't eat his lunch, so no snack, or Lucy was talking back, so she needed timeout. It sounded reasonable, but something felt wrong. The breaking point came when I had to cancel Bridget's requested raise after our car broke down, and we needed the money for repairs. I'd promised to revisit it in 3 months, but she was furious, saying I didn't value her. The next day, I came home early with a migraine and found both twins sitting in timeout facing the wall while the baby cried in his crib. Bridget was on the couch scrolling her phone. She jumped up when she saw me and said the twins had just been put in timeout 5 minutes ago for fighting. But James whispered they'd been there since lunch, and it was now 3 in the afternoon. Bridget heard him and gave him a look that made him go silent. I pretended everything was normal, but installed a nanny cam in the living room that week without telling her. What I saw made me sick. Whenever Bridget was mad at me, she'd take it out on the kids. If I texted her about schedule changes, she'd take away their toys and make them sit in silence. If I didn't buy her the expensive organic groceries she requested for herself, she'd give the kids plain bread for lunch while she ate their actual meals. When I worked late, she'd put them to bed 2 hours early without dinner, telling them mommy didn't care enough to come home. She'd make them do exercises as punishment, having 3-year-olds do wall sits until they cried. She'd tell them that mommy loved work more than them. That's why she was never home. The worst part was she was sweet as pie when she was happy with me, giving them treats and extra playtime, creating this sick cycle where the kids' happiness depended on whether I'd please the nanny. I wanted to fire her immediately, but needed more evidence of the pattern. That's when Bridget made a mistake. She brought her own kids to work one day because their school was closed. Her children were 8 and 10, old enough to understand what they were seeing. Bridget spent the day barking orders at my twins while letting her kids eat all our snacks and play with my children's toys. When my twins asked for lunch, she told them they had to wait until her kids were done eating. Her daughter Mia looked uncomfortable the whole time. The next day, Mia called me from her mom's phone while Bridget was in the bathroom. She said she'd seen her mom be mean to my babies, and it wasn't right. She said her mom did the same thing to other kids she'd nannied before, and that's why they kept having to find new families. Mia said her mom would come home and brag about how she trained parents to treat her better by making their kids miserable. She said her mom kept a notebook where she tracked what she did to kids based on what their parents did wrong. Mia was tired of it and wanted it to stop. Full story on channel, link below.